Ladies and gentlemen, we gathered here today to see if we can actually get Toxic Happy Hour off the ground after several weeks of taking a break. So therefore, your host will be Pubby and Danish. Good morning and welcome to the Toxic Happy Hour, where we are toxic towards scams that delay the adoption of global sound money. Pubby, take over. So it's my bad. We're meant to go live an hour ago. I ran into some, unfortunately, difficulties that delayed me, and I was not happy about it. Without going into details, man, I just poured my coffee as we had the countdown video running. I was running out, bringing it in. So let's go, man. What's going on?
Oh, still, yeah. Just as you know, it's been such a busy summer between us trying to coordinate. We had like opposite schedules for the longest time there, man, between my work travel and holidays and your holidays and getting back. So yeah, good to be back on it, definitely looking forward to this. So now I think we have I'm overseas now, so we have 11 hours between us. So you're getting up. I'm going to be getting ready for bed after this.
Yeah, I know. So I was actually up early because I had to go drop someone at 8. It turned out it wasn't drop someone at 8. It was go there, stand in 4 different lines. Anyways, here we are. Everything's good. Yeah, you're right. So you went on holiday. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Where did you go? And then I went on holiday. What did you do?
Yeah, we just, down in Florida, we just went up to, or over to St. Augustine, Florida. So that's on the East Coast. Lots of cool stuff there. You take surf lessons, go see the old town, the old fort. It's the oldest city in America. Ponce de Leon, all of that group was there. So pretty interesting. Yeah,
it does sound great. You sent some photos, look awesome. I went to Mexico. First time ever in Mexico. That was exciting. Beautiful weather. Really nice hotel. Service was so, but I guess that's because it was a new hotel. Overall, it's a great experience, So here we are, and I'm right now more bullish on the price of Bitcoin than on Toxic Happy Hour because we've had our break. We need to pick up momentum again. Can't even come on time. Well, whatever here this morning from my side. But yeah, it seems pretty obvious by now that we sat the bottom down at that 27,600. And then I rely a lot and trust and like on-chain analysis. We've had William Clement on, who, by the way, got a full-time job yesterday somewhere. He tweeted that out. And it was telling us that when we're going higher, that there was a lack of supply on exchanges. All cohorts of Bitcoiners, they put them into different, shrimps, fish, octopus, dolphins, whales, sharks. Everyone was buying. And it really meant that everything on chain was telling us the price was supposed to be up here while the price was still down there. The reason was, I think, that the technical analysis, and I believe in on-chain more than technical analysis when it comes to something like Bitcoin, they were still looking for capitulation. But I heard Willy Woo discussing this with Tone Vays, and Willy Woo said, we already had the capitulation on-chain. So I think technical analysts, they were shorting Bitcoin, and everyone else was going long, basically. And sooner or later, we had the short squeeze of those TAs, and we pumped the price first to 39.40, and then later on, great getting a scam call later on to 45, and here we are. We've been up quite substantially.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a sell-off at the moment, but you and I discussed the Mayer multiple before, and I remember back on July 20th, man, that thing dropped under like 0.7. I think it was down to 0.67, and that's what I tweeted out, man. It's rarely this low. So those are the times to stack, dude. Don't get scared off by the overall price. But when you see that Mayer multiple that low, when in the history of Bitcoin it's been above that price 95% of the time, it's a no-brainer, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so just to explain what Pubby is talking about here with Mayer multiple, Mayer multiple is basically the price of Bitcoin right now divided with the average of the last 200 days. So if that number is high, it basically means we've been moving up because we're above the average. If it's very low, we're way below, where we've been the last 200 days. And as you were saying, Puppy, the Mayer multiple was down to 0.7 or even below, which usually is like the very bottom of the bear market capitulation. And that's the price level that I always call, this is a good time to sell. This is a good time to sell your house and buy Bitcoin. That's the Mayer. That's what you can use that technical piece of indicator for. And the thing that was interesting here is that we got that low on the Mayer multiple, screaming buy, absolutely screaming buy, even though we are in the middle of a bull run. And I know some people say, oh, we were higher, 65 maybe was the top. But anyone who's been around and also look at on-chain says this is not, that was not the top. We are going way higher. A supply is drying up. Everything on-chain said we're still in a bull run. That's why we knew 65 was not the top. And being presented with an opportunity to buy Bitcoin when Mayer multiple is 0.7 or less in the middle of a bull run, knowing that we're going to go, nuts in the fall and winter was an amazing buy opportunity. You tweeted it out. I tweeted out. What I wrote was, I've been bullish the whole time. I said in July, early July, that I think it was early July, that as long as we start the uptrend before the end of July, $300,000 per Bitcoin is still on the table for this year. And we started the uptrend. And the reason I'm saying that is in the previous halving bull runs, Bitcoin has done more than 10x the last 5 months. So it's still very much within, normal behavior of the price to reach 300,000, which would be more than 10, around 10x from the bottom. But let's see. The uptrend started, and we're up 50% now in a month or so. It's not far to 300,000. And if it doesn't happen Q4, it's going to happen Q1. What do you think?
Yeah, like you say, everyone was calling. We're waiting and hoping to get back down towards 25 or 20,000. Obviously, that 30,000 is a pretty damn good floor. It looks like, and pumping up. Yeah, like you say, geez, we're basically just over a 2x away from 100,000, and at that point, it's game on.
Yeah, and remember, we went from 3,800 to 65. So people think that just because the numbers get big, it's like, 10,000, that's a lot. No, you got to look at it in terms of, relative growth. And we did like a 15x early on in this bull run, basically, right? From the 3,800 to 65. But never do math live. I think it's more than 15x. The 300,000, I think will be, it should not be a problem for Bitcoin to go above 300,000 this bull run. I think it's in that ballpark. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. So you know how quickly things change in Bitcoin land. You and I haven't even had a chance to talk about the whole infrastructure bill and what's going on there. I didn't know if you've been following and what your thoughts were on that.
I was actually going to ask you about that because you are an American, you're a citizen, and I'm going to have to point to you and say, you should know what's going on in your country. But my quick take is I know a lot of, I never really liked politics. It's so much, it's so fake, or there is so much, just lying. And my quick take on it in terms of Bitcoin, because a lot of people ask me, yeah, Anders, but what about, this bill? Is that going to hurt Bitcoin? American politicians can hurt the American economy and the future, of this nation by doing bad politics, which they're good at, by the way. But Bitcoin will, no matter what, survive and prosper long term. Sure, maybe something could happen short term if some bad bill, comes out, and then noobs panic like they do because they don't know what influence it's going to have. But long term, there's no problem for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will take over as money of the world, and there's no piece of American regulation that can prevent that. That's my take. Back to you.
Yeah, this they're just the absolute worst, man. Our Congress, the utter lack of education between them into figuring out what Bitcoin is, what's the difference between Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies, how it will help the U.S. It's always astounding. And there, you have an infrastructure bill, which ideally would go to working on the infrastructure, and instead they just jam all this other crap in there, man. Just jam all the stuff about cryptocurrencies that one, don't deserve to be there. But the one interesting takeaway was them differentiating between proof of stake and proof of work. Okay, so the first coins that better be scared of are all those proof of stake going forward. Like you said, for Bitcoin, it doesn't really matter. Bitcoin's always going to survive in some capacity.
Say that again. So I did hear some rumblings about that. Actually, this bill is more turning like against shitcoins and pro Bitcoin. What is this thing they're doing with proof of stake? So are they giving them a hard time now?
Yeah, I gotta dive deeper into that. But basically, they're going after the proof of stake coins first. Well, in all honesty, those are going to be your biggest competitors to a CBDC or anything. But at the end of the day, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. All that innovation, all that growth that could have been in the U.S., they're going to drive that to other countries. That's what I think.
Right. So, but are you saying that they're going to give the proof of stake coins like Ethereum wants to be a harder time, or?
Yeah, they're going to go after that. Yeah, they're going after them as securities. That's what I'm getting at. They're going to go after them like securities.
And so wait, what's that thing about Fluffy Pony being taken into custody or arrested? And where is he now? What happened there? Do you know anything about that?
No, yeah, I just heard he was taken into custody. I haven't heard anything else about it, to be honest with you. And if anyone down in the chat can bring us up to speed on Fluffy Pony, that'd be great.
Yeah. Once again, quick shout out to everyone in the chat. You're making me crack up, especially all the comments on the two necklaces I bought on the beach in Cabo, which I love. What can I say? You got to change it up a little bit. Happy birthday to Big Sean. I don't think he's watching right now. He may or may not watch later, but happy birthday, Big Sean.
Absolutely, man. Happy birthday, brother.
So, regarding Fluffy Pony and, I think I heard something about there was some other scam pre-Monero that he's getting in trouble for now. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows. I'll hopefully catch up with it at some stage. Totally out of practice here. We haven't been live for 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I'm telling you, our schedules just never matched up. But that's why I've become a Spaces whore, as you know, man. If you can't go, I just say, you know what, Anders can't go, but I can at least start a Spaces.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out. Yeah, good. Yeah.
No. No, I don't want to out you. Okay. No. Yeah, but you're killing it. You're killing it in Spaces. No doubt about that. So follow Puppy, join his Spaces, and Yeah, I'll probably. So,
Yeah,
but what I want to say is regarding Fluffy Pony. 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago, me and so many others were saying, look, they're illegal securities. It's a matter of time, and they're centralized. They claim to be decentralized. They are not decentralized. They are centralized. You have figures in head of these coins, unlike Bitcoin, that is an open source software protocol. And these people who have done pre-sales of different coins, like Ethereum, per definition are illegal securities. So, they can get in trouble one by one. And I sure don't want my, I never did want any of my funds tied up in something which, can be attacked by the government. That's the good thing about Bitcoin is, in 2012, CIA put down a commission to see, okay, let's this Bitcoin thing could get annoying, so let's kill it. They realized they can't kill it. That's why it's built decentralized, so you can't kill Bitcoin. Just like Napster, if anyone is old enough, I know we both are. Napster was shut down because it was a centralized file music sharing service, and then BitTorrent was created by, I think, Bram Cohen in the aftermath of that, and that was decentralized, so it's decentralized file sharing, which is still alive today because that's what you get when you make it decentralized, and that's why Bitcoin is unkillable. Over to you, man. I talk a lot. You know that.
No, man. I just don't know where to follow up with that. I would say, the spaces thing for Bitcoin has been pretty cool. Shout out to PD who's in here now. He shows up to a lot of them. I really do like the exchange that we have in there. I know you haven't done a lot of them, but it's just a pretty cool new feature in Twitter to use. So I love jumping in and doing them. As I'll mention in the comments, I'll leave that shit on all night and fall asleep and just go snoring. Hey, what's nice is
I heard.
You can do co-host now. So when we do our show, I'll make you a co-host.
Yeah.
And then
you should definitely have someone as a co-host so that once you start snoring, they can like boot you or something.
Like 1 a.m. here. 1 a.m. here would be noon your time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't look, but the thing is, the thing with spaces is I love to be able to jump on and then I can jump off. But if I host them, I got to stay there for 2-3 hours. And I guess I'm better at that if we're doing Toxic Happy Hour. I talk a lot, and here I know I can always talk over you.
Hey, you can look at the one from Shady Coder. What's really cool too with it is we've had some great conversations, and I'll just let people talk. I'll say, listen, I'm out. I gotta go do something, but I'll leave the phone on, plugged in, and just check back once in a while to add speakers.
Yeah. So So what else has been going on? So there's the bill going on in the U.S. Senate or Congress or whatever. I don't even know that. And again, my conclusion is it doesn't matter long term. It may squeeze some weak hands out short term that don't know that it doesn't matter long term. And Fluffy Pony, centralized scam coin organizer, I guess I heard, has been arrested. But yeah, what else has been going on?
That's the big one dominating, man. Is the infrastructure stuff.
Is it finished? Did they vote? Is it what happened?
No. So they got to. I think it goes through the weekend, and then they have to wait until the House of Representatives comes back in September because they've got to approve all of this as well.
Oh, so
it's not
one group of politicians have agreed upon it, and now someone else has to approve it.
Yeah, so a lot of times both the House and the Senate have to approve these bills for them to get pushed through into law. Yes.
Okay, and this bill that they now have agreed on, and I'm still trying to figure out what Greg actually is saying in this tweet, not tweet, chat I threw on the, but so this one that they did agree on.
Well, it hasn't passed
so
officially. It's still it hasn't been voted on. The Senate will vote on it, I believe, coming up over the weekend or next week.
Okay, so the first group of politicians have not fully agreed on it yet, you said?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what it says right now is what, 50 billion more for military spending or something, and what is but what's interesting for us is what does it say on Bitcoin? What does it say on altcoins, shitcoins?
Yeah, I still, they're still debating that. We just got to wait and see, man. Ultimately, though, Bitcoin wins, right?
Absolutely, and that's why I'm not sitting, watching mainstream media, trying to understand what's going on there, because I know it doesn't matter long term anyway what they want to do in U.S. Worst case, they're going to hurt the nation by creating a brain drain and resources flowing out of the country. And in that case, I feel sorry for you. Yeah, okay. So touched upon that. Fluffy pony price, of course, been as we also spoke about, been pumping hot. That's great. What do you think? So we're not going to make any new bets, Puppy,
Yeah.
because I have I want to collect on my bets before I make new bets.
Yeah.
With the same person. So, but what do you have as expectations? To be realistic, don't just say 1 million before New Year's, because that's a lot.
I had a tweet from last August that I put out 1 year ago that had called for 100. Bitcoin was 11,000 at the time, and I called for 100,000. I thought it'd be a 10x. This would be for the main run up, because, like I said, it was only 11,000. Yeah, I think we hit easily the 6 figures. I don't know if we go to your 300 by the end of the year. Like I say, I think we do more sideways action now. Who knows? After this vote comes out, if there's going to be a pullback with more FUD, people selling. But yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more sideways, and then this fall is when it really starts to pump again.
Right,
probably like late September, early October.
Okay. So my take is, we've pumped 50% now from the bottom. And according to Will Clement III, the scarcity and the lack of supply on exchanges should right now put us more like high 50s, right, close to 60. And so I think that, these news that have an influence, like Elon Musk or whatever, they only have an influence the way they do because the market, the supply and demand, the people who are holding, how many are noobs and nervous, how many are long-term, they react, the price reacts the way it does because of who's holding it and where the market is at that stage. The way I look at it now, the market has gotten rid of weak hands, more or less. It is the strong holders, long-term thinkers, the bullish Bitcoiners, and also institutional investors that are back now as the main holders. And even this congressional bill, I don't think, if I can call it that, I don't see short, like, sideways trading now. I think we are at the early stages of letting the rubber band, like, it started moving up and it's going to continue to move up. And I'm just going to go back to say, by nature, this bull run, and we saw that when it had its first parabolic leg up from last summer, basically, or from the halving until 65,000, is more steep than 2017. And I think we will see the same now in this second leg up. And I think we had the sideways trading. We were there for months. It kept going down, and everyone's saying, like, who's selling? And we are through that. And I see this as we have entered the second parabolic leg up, and it's more steep than in 17. And that should actually take us to 300,000 without issues. And it could happen end of this year. anyways, yeah.
So yeah, so what you're saying? So do we not? Are we always above 40 for good now? Is 40 the new bottom? Or are we pulling back into 30s before the slingshot?
So short term is always very unpredictable, and it Bitcoin will not go up in a straight line. So I would not rule it out that it goes to 40 again, but I will definitely not be betting on it. I don't have any cash on the sidelines now thinking, oh, for sure it's going there. No, maybe it will happen, but more likely it's going to go up. And we are now in a bull run, and it's getting steep again upwards. And it's time to be all in my opinion. Not financial advice, just compassionate advice. It's time to be all in. And yeah, but 30 we're never going to see. 40, I don't know. I don't care, because I care about 300, and I know we're going to get there.
That's what I do it, man. Yeah, other than that, it's just been pretty quiet on the news front for Bitcoin, you know?
Yeah, I guess. And we've both been busy. We've been on holiday. So what else have we got to talk about? Let's see if there's like anything useful from the chat, or if it's just mocking my beautiful set of necklaces from Capo in Mexico.
I like MG Smith 4 has one there. Clement/Clemente is a new pleb/plebe.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Clement. That's right.
Clemente,
so
Clemente.
The way to pronounce him. Yeah, MG Smith 4, another good Bitcoiner we met in Miami. Man, I love that trip to Miami. That was one of my best weekends ever. That's where we met MG Smith 4 and many of the other guys for the first time.
Yeah, they're doing and in August. I think you're going to be traveling again. But you know, we've got BitBlock Boom coming up in Texas, and I think that's the August like 26, 27, 28, that time frame.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested in it, hey, they're doing a like a big, BitBlock and guns or something like that. They're having a day going out and shooting guns, man.
Nice. Self-protection or self-defense. It's crucial, man, as Bitcoiners, because Bitcoin is a bearer asset, and if you're holding it yourself, you are a target. And I don't hold it myself because I don't want to have that risk. I have it; it's far away, but still, being able to protect yourself with guns, I think makes a lot of sense. Anyway, so the world, I think, as Bitcoin, because fiat currencies like US dollar is something that government uses to finance just getting bigger and bigger and encroaching more and more, because it's an indirect tax. We just print more, whatever money they want to spend to get more votes. Oh, let's hand out some money. You want money? Okay, we'll send you a check so we can get your vote. That's what they can do when they have a fiat currency. But when Bitcoin takes all this money, we're defunding government from doing such things. And a lot of people think that we're going to a lot more localized government, more like citadels. And I think that's an exciting prospect. You know, there's going to be a less nation state war, and it's more going to be local. And therefore also we'll end up paying less tax because we don't need to have huge militaries. It's all about self-protection. And who's going to come and try and take over a citadel if all the citizens carry arms? And like what wealth is there to gather? It will be protected. You don't want to fight militia, man, or guerrilla.
Yeah. So I was going to so moving into next year, anyone calls these tops out. Stock to flow, famously, the 288 range or higher, 300. Once we hit that top, quarter one, quarter two, next year possibly, what does the next bear market look like, or is this it for you?
No, that's a great question. And once I collect that steak dinner, I'm totally willing to take on the next the similar bet, because you said no, you thought it's after the top, but. So let's get into that without entering a new bet now necessarily. Okay. But Yeah, I see a top in the vicinity of 300 as well. Not only S2FX from Plan B, but generally, if you look at how the price and the tops have been expanding since the beginning of Bitcoin, that makes sense. In fact, 7 months before Plan B tweeted out or released his first model, 7 months before that, I put out a tweet and saying, if history is to repeat, the next bull run top will be between 100 and 340. So his first model came out and said 100. I think that was a stock to flow, right? The second one, S2FX, at 288. So both of those very nicely fit in what I released there half a year before. So it's general trend really. I think that what we've just seen with the price correcting more than 50%, and Greg knows that very well, price correcting more than 50% after this first leg up, it just really confirms that it is still early. There's still a lot of market psychology, and after what I consider the second leg that will take us to the vicinity of 300,000, that there will again be a correction, I guess vicinity or more than 50%. So I'm totally comfortable with doing another 40% bet there, but and it will be basically, I guess, a bear market, but it will never again, I think, be a 12 months bear market like we saw from the top in 17 to the bottom in 18. I don't think it will take 12 months to set that bottom. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I just don't know on that pullback for the next one. You just don't. Every cycle obviously is different. But look, you and I talked about this briefly, and I heard Jeff Booth bring it up on a podcast when someone was talking, and they're talking about these future prices, and then saying, how much Bitcoin do you really need? And when you and I talked briefly like this, at what price? And I was going to have a different price, but there comes a price when you pretty much can stop stacking. I know that's heresy here in this space, but look, you get coins at like 500,000, and you've been here for a while. It's like, well, shit, I'm pretty well set. am I really wanting to buy 0.00001 and add to my stack?
Yeah, you're touching upon something I think is really funny, and you said the heresy. Like and that's for a couple of months now. I've been saying, I love Bitcoin Twitter. I have for years now. But it's a little bit, turning into a lynch mob where there are these commandments, and if you break any of them, we don't go and have a look at it, with a little bit of, we don't apply brain power. We just say, oh, you're not supposed to do this. You should be stacking for life, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's, I cannot follow with the chat today. I can't believe it. I guess because I'm not used to this multitasking. We haven't been doing this for 3 weeks. I'll catch up eventually. But I think you have a good point. Like if you've been stacking hard and really delaying gratification because you wanted to buy as much as you could from your paycheck, sooner or later what you can stack from your paycheck kind of is not really, I guess, making a dent anymore. And then you're like, well, maybe now I should allow myself to, buy a steak, buy a beer, and then you're still delaying maybe your Bitcoin gratification to later. But it's called delayed gratification. It's not called never gratification, and people need to realize that. Me, for example, I really did as much as I could, right? You know that. I haven't had a car for many years. I don't own real estate anymore. I don't even have a bicycle, as you know. I had a Moon Goose for 1 month. So I delayed gratification, but I'm also not 20 years anymore. So I do want to have gratification at some stage, and I'm going to allow myself to get some gratification because I delayed it, So cry me a river if I actually buy a car at one stage, because I do want to have a car, but I delayed it. And the difference it made for me to delay it so I could buy a little bit of, Satoshis would now pay for me getting a car and then have some left. So it's delayed gratification. There's another thing that is, of course, absolutely, this is going to hit a lot of nerves, I think. But I'm tired of the hypocrisy of this particular part. I trade the halving cycle on eToro. You know that. And as soon as people hear trade, they're like, trader. And then again, you're not allowed to do that, right? But as I tell people, I'm not a day trader, and day trading, in my opinion, makes zero sense when we're in a bull run. You don't want to spend any time outside a market that goes up significantly on average every day. But the same people that gives me, a very hard time about that I am a trader because I'm planning to take some chips off the table after 300,000 in order to buy it back cheaper. So, oh, you can't foresee that. Okay, well, I mean, game on, right? The same people are all taking some chips off the table to either, I heard it from so many, either pay off credit card or get a car, or, maybe upgrade the home or get a new kitchen or something. So I haven't done any of that. But so I may be selling later than you, hopefully at a higher price in order to buy back more. But you selling for material goods is okay, but I can't. Cry me a river. The hypocrisy is sometimes a little bit too strong. And yellow is quite right. It's actually candy. I can eat this. I don't know, Few. Is that only in Europe? I think it's all over the world, yellow. Good to see yellow back on Twitter, by the way. And the prophecy was that once he's back, the price would pump, and it totally coincided. So if you want the best TA on Twitter or on Bitcoin, you follow Yella. I wonder. I got to update. I have several Twitter accounts down below in the show notes, or we do. Got to make sure I have the updated yellow down there. I may not have.
So yeah. So
what do you think about that? Me trading the halving cycle. I'm a bad person, right?
Not at all, man. So what does that look like to you, or what do you think for people when they want to start taking, quote unquote, some profits? What do you think of this buy, borrow, and die sort of theory, where you just take out some loans against a small portion of your stack, and you just hold the Bitcoin and hope that 200% average annualized return continues. You never have to give up your Bitcoin. Is that a winning strategy for you?
It's a really good question, and you know my answer, so I appreciate you asking this, so we can get my side of the story as well, or my input, because a lot of people say, I'm never going to sell, I'm going to take a loan out. But I have a dear friend that lost practically all of his Bitcoin in the COVID crash last year, where Bitcoin lost 50% in 8 hours. I was sitting there watching it live. Luckily, I was awake. Not that it made a difference, but it was exciting. The problem is that when you get one of these events and the price crashes, you can be stopped out and they liquidate your Bitcoin to pay off the loan, because the value of your Bitcoin is not allowed to get less than your loan, because then you can do a runner and they lose money. So I say, really be careful with putting up your Bitcoin as collateral for a fiat currency loan, because you need one bad day in the market, and they happen again and again. Sure, there's some time in between, but you don't know when it happens. And when that one bad day comes, you are wiped out. And I say be careful with that. I would rather say, look, if you really need money, either work harder, or if you have to sell 2% of your Bitcoin because you really need money, I would rather do that and have 98% safe than having half of it at risk of being liquidated. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a healthy percentage. I don't know what your friend was having out there if you put 50% of it in. But look, if it's at a certain price and you can take a loan against 2% to pay for just 2% of your Bitcoin, and you can live off that, or that's what you need. I think that's I don't think there's going to be like a 98% pullback from Bitcoin anymore, 80%. But if you just have a small stack out there that you just take a loan against, I think it's relatively safe. It's just the people that get sort of greedy and put too much of their stack in that get burnt,
Right. And it is greed, of course, that plays in. But the thing is, if you want to do it like safe and have a lot of collateral compared to your loan, that means, and at the same time, if you don't want to put too much of your Bitcoin up there, that is very little you can take out as a loan because you want to be safe and have a big buffer. So to me, then that's like, do you really want to do that? But, it's, I guess it's, each person has to make up their mind what is right for them. I would personally just rather delay gratification and then sell a smaller part of it. But yeah. Oh, so while I remember, back to I just want to say back to this thing that, it's heresy to do any type of trading, even though everyone's, whatever. I'm going to do a video later this week where I go into, I'll go through the different factors that I personally look at in terms of trying to define a top in this bull run. So that's going to come out, same channel here later this week. Pubby, you are on UK Bitcoin Meister show on Thursday. He was in the chat earlier. I'm not sure if he's still there, but shout out to him. You're going there on Thursday. Tell us where people can.
Yeah, I think Brian's still down there. So we've reached out. We've had Brian on our show. Yeah, there he is. Hey, Brian. Yeah, so Brian was kind enough to grace us with his presence on an earlier Toxic Happy Hour, and he said, "Hey, do you want to swing by?" So the 12th is I think Thursday, and that will be it'll be 10 a.m. your time. So I believe that's 6 p.m. in UK. It'll be 9 p.m. here for me. Yeah, so
right.
Definitely get to hang out with the UK Bitcoin master himself, man. We're gonna have a good time, man. It's strange being on the other side of this because usually we have guests on and we can we ask him just talk about it, but yeah, I have no clue what he's gonna ask me.
No, but it's nice, right? You don't not that we prepare, but it's kind of like you're sort of. You don't have all that responsibility anymore. You can just, join the stream with a link and, answer questions. It's nice. Yeah. And actually, he was nice enough to invite me on the following Thursday. So I'll be Thursday next week, the same time. I felt, I guess he felt he couldn't let me stand outside freezing when he brought you in the warm. So it's just out of sympathy, he's bringing me on, which I appreciate.
Princey, Daniel Prince, he still owes us the double, doesn't he? Because he has each on his singles, and then he said we're going to come back as a double act. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, you're right. That'll be fun. Once Bitten, that's Princey's podcast. I don't know if there's anyone putting out as much content as him. He's doing a lot of basically interviewing a lot of Bitcoiners.
Yeah, his show's always a good one, and he brings in a lot of the plebs, however you want to pronounce it. He brings them all in, man. So they all have an interesting background story.
Yeah, it's a lot of personal stories behind that. Greg finally got it right. That is my necklace. It's the necklace from my Bitcoin shaman that turns the bear market energy into bull market chakra, which I don't know if I'm, what I'm saying, but it sounds bullish. And so let's go with that.
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick price check. All right, so we're just going sideways at 45,000 now. Not bad.
Yeah. I guess it's because I'm not wearing this scarf, but it's and but I've got it right here. I'm touching it the whole time, so we still got the scalp pump. It's still warm here, and I went to my shaman to get the bullish necklace. So it's as long as you have a bullish neck thing, it's kind of the scarf pump, right? So yeah. So that's the bull run. You say next year, I say Q4 still on the table. And I think you brought up something really interesting, as we didn't get that much into about are you stacking for life, or at some stage do you allow yourself to a little bit enjoy life with the fiat currency that you're still mining from your job? I mean, eventually we'll all be stacking for life, because eventually Bitcoin will be the only money that is paid out in your job. And as you said, how much is enough? How much is enough, Puppy?
Yeah, enough to look, man. It's not like I have a full lavish lifestyle. It wouldn't take much, really. That or at least you can have enough Bitcoin that'll pay all your bills, and you do something you love. Why don't you? It's something that you've had as a passion. Yeah, if you got enough that can pay the bills, and you can do that and develop that kind of work that just fulfills you. I don't see anything wrong with that. Everyone's got a life goal in a way, and a number. I know some think they'll need 10 million, whatever, to retire. I don't think it's that much. So I guess to each their own and what they want to do. Yeah.
Yes, as Bitcoiners, that's the thing. Pubby and I, we're no spring chickens anymore. We delay gratification. We don't say never gratification. So before I die, I would like to actually drive a car again. But I don't know. So I think I'm actually finally getting to I'm 13 minutes behind in the chat. I think I'm finally getting to probably the chats regarding when I said Crimea River on actually trading the halving cycle. I don't know. I guess I'm going into hell now. We'll see. But I'm a spook, and I don't know if I. Can you define a spook to me? Because I asked someone, they told me, and it makes sense, and I kind of a little bit forgot it again. I'm not, again, no spring chicken, don't have eternal memory. Is like the snitch, like the person that tells, or
no? You're you're a CIA agent.
Oh,
you're a spook. Yeah, that's getting behind the scenes into Bitcoin Twitter. That's all.
Right.
But but you're bringing it up. Like, imagine, Jesus, when you're 65 or 70, and you still haven't spent 20 years, and you still haven't spent any of your Bitcoin. I mean, at some point, you gotta enjoy it a little at some point.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I'm gonna repeat myself now, but I really went hard into throwing all gratification overboard. Gone through a cycle now. So I need to live a little as well at some stage. But yeah, guys, I don't own a house. If you own a house out there and you're saying that I'm not stacking hard enough, then sorry, I don't. I actually, I was at a Bitcoin meetup barbecue here the other day, Saturday, and we were talking a little bit about this, and I told them, I don't have any stocks, I don't have any real estate, I don't have a car, I don't have anything. Everything is in Bitcoin, 100% all in. It's like, oh, what, really? Oh my God. Yeah, you can't. I've had that attitude for years, so I'm sorry if I take some chips off the table to buy back cheaper while you take chips off the table to buy material goods. Anyways, I've been ranting enough on that. Got to get over it and just carry on with the show here. Greg Sash luckily took care of his gratification. Oh my God. So yeah, what else is going on in Bitcoin? Hey,
Oh,
by
just
the
the
way,
usual.
Puppy, it's good to see you again, man. It's been 3 weeks. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, man. You're my long lost brother.
Yeah,
We're talking there for a while, almost daily. Then yeah, what? Sometimes life gets in the way. That's all.
yeah. But so you are still on travels for another 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably another. Yep, another. Yeah, about that 2.5, 3 weeks.
which makes
Yep.
it possible for you to do Toxic Happy Hour. And I am here in LA for an unknown still little while, and then I will be in Europe, and from there, I'll be able to do some Toxic Happy Hours as well. I'll be cracking up some nice Danish cold Tuborgs, and we can probably even mess around with some new time zones, and for once maybe be accessible for people in UK. I know we've got RD in UK, we've got Plan Marcus in Holland.
Well, look, the times you go at 11 a.m. is good too. When I'm back stateside, because
Oh,
that's because that 2 to 4 hour we usually do. That puts all the UK guys in there from 7 to 9, so they're good.
Okay, so that our normal time is pretty good. So
Yeah.
And oh my God, what is Apple doing now with surveillance? They used to be totally, against and refused to open up an iPhone that a terrorist had used or something like that. And now they're implementing software to check out your photos and let the authorities know if there's child pornography. I think it is, and of course we're all against that. But
Right.
But it's about, if we open the door to surveillance,
Yes.
it will be used for everything. It's just a matter of time. My problem is, so I bought this laptop that I have right here last year. I got a cheap laptop because I'm a Bitcoiner. I don't want to spend money on anything else but Bitcoin. And I'm sick and tired of it. And I was straight off the bat, because this is, a Microsoft. I've never owned a MacBook, and they're also more expensive. But I've always looked at the nice user interface and said, maybe I should try it one day. And what was the straw that broke the camel's back for me on Microsoft products is I had to go through so much trouble not to use their browser Edge as the default. I think it's still the default browser even. I can't get rid of it. And to me, that's like, I'm done, enough. I'm going to Apple. Like, I will allow myself to use some of my fiat income to get the MacBook Pro is coming with the Apple Silicon, and also my very, very old Samsung mobile is dying on me. So it's like, yeah, let me get the new iPhone when then comes, and then this happens, and like, now what am I gonna do? Now Apple is doing their surveillance thing. What do you think?
Yeah, the surveillance obviously is getting out of control. Especially when you look around the world right now, and it's all being done under the guise of for your own good. This is for your safety, and like you say, it starts out with child pornography, which obviously is a horrific thing, and that's how they get their foot in the door. But you don't know what they're saving off in the background. If they can get in for that, they're monitoring everything, man. It's an awful, awful idea. It just reminds me of there's I don't know if you saw it going around. Elizabeth Warren, the senator, correct? You know her?
Yeah.
Okay, so she was talking to someone about and they do this every couple of years, talking about wanting to do a wealth tax. Okay, here we pay our income tax. She was talking about a wealth tax, which, again, as she phrased it, and she did it. She said it is, and she goes like this: "It'll just be a tiny little tax." Well, that's how they all start, man.
Yeah.
We're only going after people with 500 million. Oh, and it's only 1% until next year. Next year.
Yeah. We need a little bit more money because we want to do things so people vote on us. So everybody wants to be Santa Claus in politics so they can get the votes. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when she mentioned that. Oh, we just like just a 0.5%, 1%, or whatever, of whatever people have. We'll take that from, and we all know how it's going to go. It's the spiral with no end. Has there ever been a tax that has gone the other way? So
no, we had well, I got to look up the numbers again. But if you go back to when the income tax started in the early 1900s, it was only like 1% of the people that paid income tax. Even look at us now, man. It was only like the top 1%, and it wasn't much money. Yeah, or like you say, man.
I would like to just highlight something, and I think most of us that's been around a little while remember, Puppy, do you remember Vortex?
Yes.
Yeah, Vortex had an amazing YouTube show. He has so much knowledge, and he helped break down the technical things where that's probably my shortcoming, is the technical side of things, and loved his show. I had him on my Bitcoin meetup in LA 3.5 years ago or something in Century City, and one of the things he told me that I didn't know was, Anders, did you know that before, when the Fed was created, that's when they created IRS as well. Before that, there was no income tax in the United States. And guess what? There was still schools, there was still hospitals, there was still roads, there was still a self-defense, military. And once you open up that Pandora's box of tax misery, there's just no stopping it, man.
That's like the toll roads. Okay, they always do the toll roads. Yeah, right. Yeah, not tonight. Straight water for me.
Bobby's drinking water.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed after the show. So, yeah, whenever they started the toll road, it was always, well, we're going to collect the tolls to pay for the road. Well, guess what? Those toll roads never end. They never end. Even when they pass it. Oh, when now it's for the maintenance. Now it's for this. Like you say, you give them an inch and they take a mile.
Yeah. But so what do you think about, Puppy? I think we both agree that Bitcoin takes over as money of the world and the US dollar is going to go away more or less, right? Do we agree to that? Or
I just don't know how what that transition is going to look like.
That's fair.
I agree. And I just want, there's just so many different ways this could go. I have no clue on what the timing is going to be like. There's just so many people that are used to $1 that are going to want it for as long as they can. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. We don't want to get into that whole discussion that we had with a guest earlier this year. God. But if Bitcoin takes over as money of the world or whatever, and we never mind the transition, I think we can agree to the fact that US dollars will, if not completely go away, which I believe will be very quite irrelevant, whatever. We'll see. Point is no matter what, the government and the Fed will lose the power to just spend money whenever they want, because they can just print it and dilute the value of your savings, and that gives them unlimited spending power, which is quite destructive for misallocation of capital. So I'm trying to get to my point here, and that point is, that's a good question, actually. See, I always end up going down all these little side roads. So my point is, do you think the central, federal, nation state type of government will have the same amount of power in the future when this important part of their funding is taken away, the ability to print money? Or do you see what a lot of Bitcoiners are saying, we'll go more to sort of localized government, city citadels, like it's been back in the days, before fiat currencies?
Yeah, I think I was listening to Alex Vetsky on a podcast, and he mentioned something about this there, and you're starting to see it in Miami. When you have the mayor of these towns, that the states, this will be interesting. I think the states by state will adopt Bitcoin, obviously, before the federal government. Okay. They will adopt it. They could use it, obviously, already. So they'll have a head start. And pretty much, I think you'll have each state as its own little citadel in a way.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see because the government technically, well, they can try. We'll have another. But they can try to stop a state from adopting Bitcoin. But right now, Miami's trying to do it, as you know. Other cities are trying to do it. Look at Wyoming. Some of these states are going to have such a head start on everyone else. If you have Bitcoin-friendly laws, look, if there could be a federal law that comes out. There could be a federal law that comes out, but it's not to say that the state doesn't have the same rights. They come out with a federal mask mandate for certain things, but like in my state of Florida, guess what? That's not, the state rights supersede that. So
right.
I think you'll see it by states, just more out of necessity. If they're not getting enough money from the federal, they got to do something, and you're going to see some states take a chance on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about the game theory and the way it plays out with Bitcoin is whoever realizes what inevitable will happen, that Bitcoin grows and grows and grows and will take over as money of the world and be super, super important and very, very valuable, obviously. Whoever plays into that first by acquiring some will be the ones that have the power in the future, because as Scarface said, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women. That's what he said. Now, if we leave the last part out, power, goes to whoever has the most wealth and money. And so you can't, as a federal government, just, if you realize that Bitcoin is the future, it's no good that you just keep, trash talking it and sending out fake fear, uncertainty, and doubt thought. You need to acquire some sooner or later. Otherwise, you'll have states in this country with more power than the national government, the federal government. And I mean, we're seeing that with, for instance, MicroStrategy. They have obviously gained a lot of increased purchasing power from going all in on Bitcoin a year ago. I think it's about a year ago today, or right around here.
Sure was.
So they'll be able to buy up other companies and again leverage their profit to take on more loans and sell more convertible bonds and more junk bonds to buy more Bitcoin, which is perfect, wonderful. And the same will happen on, it's the same as happening for us Bitcoiners. We have bought Bitcoin. We're stacking on a regular. I'm still stacking on a regular. I know you are as well. And we gain, increased purchasing power. And the same will happen on that, regulatory, the government level, be it local or federal, whatever. So if the federal government wants to keep trash talking and not buying it, but you have all the states all of a sudden taking over, then someone is morsing SOS through your windows. Are they sitting in the?
Yeah. If you look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on the 15th floor at this hotel, and that's the building across the street. Got a big strobe light over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of security, or is it the prison guard tower that is like flashing around the yard?
Yeah, it's a panopticon.
Yeah. All right, let's see how much have I caught up. Okay, I'm 10 minutes behind. At least it's a little bit less, but
hey, we got no real agenda, man. As you know, we just decided to just
we don't
straight.
The only thing I was thinking about as I was driving the car earlier before the delayed start to the show was like, maybe the whole the regulations thing was be something that we should touch upon, and we did, and all these other things always come up, and but people already know it, but Toxic Happy Hour really comes out of our old for years talking on the phone during the bear market about Bitcoin, many hours a week, and we just decided to throw it on here. So how are we doing on price anyway? Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's funny. When you go back and look at some of those old tweets that people were doing back in 2018, when that price was, when it was down under 5,000, and I remember looking back at some and I'm laughing like, people are like, yeah, you know what, I'll ride this down to 1,000 if I need to, or someone's like, man, it pumped to 6,000 today. Gee, should I buy some more right now or what? And you're thinking, man, that's the time to be stacking.
Absolutely, and but I understand where the question come from when people are like, oh, should I buy now or should I wait? You're looking at the biggest opportunity maybe for thousands of years of investment. The entry point is not that important. It really, I mean, either you take your full position now, or or at least throw in half or more than that, and then dollar cost average the rest over a couple of months or whatever. But I don't have, I'm an all-in type of person, so I couldn't wait. Once it doesn't matter, just buy. Short term is unpredictable, so why are you trying to trade it if it's unpredictable, right? Just buy, and then long term plays out, and you're good. Just get the Bitcoin.
Yeah, you got to get off zero, as they say, right? Let's see, what is it? Was it 0.027 that everyone in the world can get? Let's see.
Well, what is a fact is that if you don't own Bitcoin, you are short Bitcoin. If you don't own Bitcoin, you think that you are choosing to not own the best performing asset mankind has seen, especially the outperformance since 2009, and you're saying that you don't think that it's going to continue where it's going. No one should ignore Bitcoin anymore. No one can afford to ignore Bitcoin. If you have a family, if you have children and grandchildren, or planning to get it, what are you even thinking if you're choosing to short the best performing asset ever? At least you gotta get off zero. That's being a bear. I like to be all in, but of course there's it's all calculated risk.
Yeah, I was just running the numbers, and the 21 million Bitcoin into 7 billion people, and that's only 0.029 per person. So basically, for $1,300 right now, you could have as much Bitcoin as that everyone can possibly own if everyone had some. That's it. That's not much.
Right. Yeah.
Take a flyer. Take a chance.
And that's also another point that I love to share with people is that according to my calculations, 0.1 Bitcoin is financial independence 10 years from now when Bitcoin has taken over, because that will be equal in purchasing power to $2-3 million today, but in a world where your money goes up in value instead of going down. And let's remember that the free market interest rate on Bitcoin is way higher than the artificial 0% from the central bank. So expect all assets to be repriced much lower. So houses are going to be much lower, measured in Bitcoin, of course. And same with stocks. They're not going to have the price earnings that they have today. So, and that's also why I don't own any of those, because I consider them crashing. I know people say, oh, the housing market is hot, the price is up in dollars. Yeah, but that's because they're killing the dollar and they printed 40% more. So if they printed 40% more and the price of your house is up 15%, is it really up?
Yeah, didn't Will on one of our shows say, I think he said something to the effect of, if they get all revalued, they're going to drop like 80%.
I think I said that, but if he said that, I think he's right, basically. So let's just agree to that. I mean, that could easily happen. But that being said, if you have a house and you have mortgaged it, I consider that mortgage to eventually be a piece of cake to pay back because it's US dollars you own, and US dollar is going to get so cheap because it's crashing in value. So, I mean, if you have a house and then you have a mortgage in it, I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, debt makes sense in this society and this under this monetary regime. Debt makes sense because it's fairly cheap and it's going to go away, I think.
Yeah, again, I have one of my colleagues. He's getting ready to retire next year. And he can talk about it. You know, he's going to get his home paid off. And I was explaining to him, and he's more for the peace of mind. He gets the numbers in his head, but he just can't bring himself to do it. And I'm saying, look, man, that is the cheapest damn money you'll ever get. And you can kick that can down the road for 30 years. You know what the dollar's going to be worth in 30 years if you take out a 30-year mortgage? It's absolutely like it'll be worth pennies at that time on what it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the only concern, but I've been telling this same thing to all of my friends. The only concern is I understand that people like to have equity and have a buffer in case anything happens. I get it, but overall, I consider that debt to be going towards zero. And by the way, so I've upgraded. Absolutely relevant, yet relevant. In order for me not to have to run and get coffee, I got a new coffee machine that where this one holds it warm, so I can bring it here next to me when I'm doing Toxic Happy Hour with you, so I don't have to run. Yeah, but I need a fridge in here as well. I do.
Hey, we got to work on our guest list, man. We got to work on our guest list. So.
But I think what we got to do is we got to work our way through our guest list because
we
did that whole Canada thing. You went on holiday. I went on holiday.
Yep.
You went on Spaces. You stayed on Spaces. You continued on Spaces. But I'm all for it, man. You know that. I'm just messing with you. All for it. Fully support it. But we started that Canada thing, trying to create the narrative that Canada should be the first G7 country to adopt or legalize Bitcoin as tender. Probably not going to happen, but hey, if there's only 7 countries, who knows if we can get it right. But it'll be fun if we could, push at least people to ask that question in Canada. So we had we launched with the first one is a few videos back on the channel. John Vallis is coming on. To also talk about that, BTC Sessions and Ali from the Real Tahinis. So that we got 3 guests there that already committed. We owe them to bring them on the show. So before we make the list longer, I don't I don't like to keep people waiting, man.
Hey, we got a solid 3 weeks. We can make it happen.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, speaking of John Vallis, I just saw him today. They finally released, I don't know if you saw this, Jordan Peterson did the interview with John, Robert Breedlove, Gigi, and James. And so, that was a really interesting one. So if you get a chance, if you go to Jordan Peterson's YouTube channel,
he do you see it?
Great. I watched it. Yeah, I watched it today.
TLDR, let's have a summary.
Oh, no, just, Jordan Peterson, he's a clinical psychologist from Canada, and writes a lot of good self-help books, strong philosophy about, good self-help, taking responsibility, leading a honest life, this kind of thing. And he was interested in Bitcoin. He's heard about Bitcoin, and the more he was diving into it, he could see sort of the philosophical backdrops of it as really as honest, hard, sound money. And these guys just had a free flowing debate and he was playing devil's advocate for, what's wrong with the central banks? What's wrong with fiat currency? So he had
everything.
And Gigi was breaking down what he look, the guy's a genius, man, but he's done his research, obviously, but he was asking leading questions because he knew a lot of people that would be watching his channel for the first time would have those same questions. But yeah, it's a good one, man. So anyone that's listening here, yeah, check out Jordan Peterson talking to the Bitcoiners.
Yeah, that should be a good one. Did they convince him? Did they convince Jordan Peterson or?
Yeah, I think he is sort of convinced. And he was talking about, well, how did we get this way? How did they get this far? Is this like because he says, I don't like to call everything a conspiracy. And that's just it. I don't think I'm going to call it a conspiracy. This is just the nature of what fiat money does. You can't control it like that, and you can't help but to debase it. You know, they have no choice. They have to print money. So what starts out as you think you have a good idea, or you think you can control it, guess what? You can't. You're not. They're not going to. It's not like they're going to raise taxes to that point to pay everything back. They don't have any choices. Austerity measures aren't going to work. So what do? You print, but isn't that that's the story of every currency like that?
Right.
All fiat currency goes to zero.
What I will say is, it isn't just the nature of fiat currency. You read the book, The Creature of Jekyll Island, right? So if private bankers created the Fed and actually owned that, that is a conspiracy, in my opinion. That is the foundation of deep state, and the bribing of politicians to go bomb different places and increase spending on military so that they can get profits in the arms manufacturer industry. I would call that conspiracy. If you have a few families really running the show, and democracy just being a front, letting people know or that people think that they have influence. And I just want to once again mention that there's only 2 presidents that did not ask Congress for more funds for military spending during their first term, and none of them got elected for the second term. And I don't know if that's democracy. I don't think Americans per se want to go to war. So those is one from each party. One, Jimmy Carter, the Democrat, Donald Trump, the Republican. None of them lasted more than their first term. And then you got to ask yourself, so the mass media that portrays the picture of them, who owns them, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the same people that runs the show. They control the public narrative. So yeah.
Well, right. It's how ridiculous is it that the people, the Federal Reserve that controls the issuance of money, we have zero government oversight on them. We can't even audit the Fed, and it's not only. Oh, by the way, it's not only our. There's Brian. Hey, Brian, man. Yeah, thanks for swinging by here. And I'll see you on Thursday, man. Looking forward to that. But remember, every other currency in the world is most of them pegged to the dollar. So guess what? You imagine you're working. I don't know, in Ecuador, anywhere, and all you see is your currency is being devalued by a country you've never seen or visited.
Yeah,
it's comical.
And owned by private families. I mean, that is the foundation of deep state and conspiracy right there. They run the show, in my opinion. Right. Follow the money, understand incentives, and it would be very weird if it's not the case. I still didn't read the book, The Creature on Jekyll Island, that you read, but that's I understand that's kind of what it says, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. I got another 5-10 minutes, but I know it's getting late for you. I don't know if there's any topics left that you want to touch upon. I know you don't have a list of topics because we didn't create that.
Yeah, we didn't do it today. Yeah, we just said, hey, it's been too long. Let's just make it happen.
Yeah.
No, not really. Like I say, I'm looking forward to, now we're sort of settled around 45,000. Just interesting to see how the rest of this year goes. Does the stock to flow model, does it break? I don't know. We'll see. So we've made it this far into the bull run. There are a lot of people that were saying we're in a bear market and we're down in the low 30s, and as you and I know, this isn't a bear market. So yeah, the next 2-3 months will be interesting, and then especially the months following that. Yeah. So get ready, man. We could be doing, the a $15,000 fucking green dildo day, on here. Imagine those jumps, 10, 15 grand. It's gonna be interesting, man.
Yeah, I have zero doubt that the rest of this year is going to do what we spoke about in the beginning of the year, and that is melt faces. That face melting is going to happen when we blow through 100,000, blow through 200,000. By the way, so I made 2 new bets, and as much as I could have probably made it more advantageous to myself, as much as I obviously believe it's going to happen, but it happens in a conversation. I'm talking to a no-coiner friend, and he's being bearish, and so now we're at this level, so he sees, okay, now we're at this level, and so the bet is, which ended up making with 2 persons, that we're gonna hit, we're gonna go above 200,000 by 21st of March next year. That to me should be a no-brainer, but of course I could have not given myself much better odds, because he would have taken, if I had said 80, he would have taken it, right? So I kind of I obviously believe it's going to happen, otherwise I wouldn't have made the bet, but could have probably made it easier for myself, but let's see. I'm on it.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet you got there,
right? 200,000. I got more than half a year. That's dude, we could be here in November.
Hey, remember American Hodl still has his bet with Peter McCormick. Just to refresh your memory, Hodl took 300,000 by the end of this year.
Yeah.
For half a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So
the bet is half a Bitcoin, but his bet is, he says it will hit 300,000, and I hope, and I think he has a real good chance. But the next couple of months are gonna get stupid. That's why we gotta pump a lot of toxic happy hours out there. But now summer is over. You're back from vacation. You're working. I'm back from vacation. I'm working. So since we're working, we have more time to not work doing toxic happy hour.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, man.
Yeah, awesome. Anything in the end here you wanna share, apart from the fact that you're going on UK Brian Bitcoin Master on Thursday. I'm going on next Thursday. What else would you like to share? And then I'll see if I remember our outro, which is, it's been a long time. You go.
No, not much else to share, man. The sideways action is fun on Bitcoin Twitter. This is when all the infighting starts. So look, if you're on Bitcoin Twitter, give me a follow. Jump in. Like I say, Anders and I are going to start doing, our toxic happy hour spaces. So jump in there too. It's been great to meet a whole new audience in a way. Just to come hang out, man. That's about it. But good to see you again, brother.
Yeah, likewise, man. So go experience spaces on Twitter by following. If you follow Pubby, his link is down below, and he's going live with spaces about twice a day on average, I think. It's fair to say.
I probably won't do one tonight. It's like going on 10:30 here.
I know. Yeah. Anyways, but in the coming days. But hey, I guess, and you'll be busy Thursday. I need to do a video on the whole halving cycle thing and what I look for in identifying a top. But I could probably, we'll see if we can do another toxic happy hour later this week. We still have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday, you're busy.
Yeah,
I could still. We'll see what happens.
We'll work something out.
Right. We'll find out. Yeah. All right. So on that note, please don't store more value in fiat currency that you can afford to lose, because it's a built-in policy to dilute the value of your savings. That's why us Bitcoiners look to Bitcoin as storing value, because it's limited. to 21 million. It's not unlimited like US dollars. I think they printed 40% more since COVID crash last year. So it's not really ideal to save up money. Obviously, prices of everything is shooting up now. Even the official number, which is artificially low, is shooting up. I look at the gas prices; they're going through the roof. So saving up in dollars is really not a good idea, and that's why Bitcoin, in our opinion, is the great and only alternative. And yes, looking forward to do a lot more Toxic Happy Hours with you, Puppy, and catch up and follow this bull run as we blast through the hundreds of thousands. Yeah, see you on the next one.
Hey, scarf pump is working.
Is it?
Yeah.
What are we at? What are we at? We are at 45,000.
200.
Wait,
yeah.
my trading views 40,100. My trading view says,
Yep.
but
There we go.
yeah. Look, compared to we were at 30,000 like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So yeah, Bitcoin is doing great. All right. Thanks for watching. Yeah, good to see you again, Puppy. See you on the next one.
You got it, brother. And
right.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Always thanks for coming by.
Absolutely. The chat is the show. Phew.